I studied at Taylor Weir, graduated, or I finished high school straight into it, and then straight into the apprenticeship with Taylor Weir. Graduated 2018, the class of 2018. Won Barber of the Year, which was quite nice. Taylor Weir actually got me to fly over to Sydney as well. Got to go to do a expo over there, learn a few things from a few familiar faces and people that I've followed and watched online for a while. So that was quite good. And yeah, come back to help out, I guess. It was starting with like-minded people is great. I think I did a pre-app before, and it was a bit awkward with, there was a few hairdressers and then a few bricklayers around, and they're, watching you. So I think it's great that you're surrounded with like-minded people who want, to learn, and they're in the same industry as you, and networking. It's unreal, and I still keep in contact with everyone today. Every day is different. People sit down in my chair and you're going to have a great conversation with someone. And then I think one of the challenges I faced was not being able to, talk to people when I first started. And after finishing TAFE and graduating, I could talk to anyone, So it was like you're a psychologist in a way, you're talking to someone, making sure they're having a good day, and once you can see them, once they leave the shop, they're buzzing, they got a great haircut, and I think you've made their day. Like, I enjoyed Taylor Weir. My time there was awesome. The people were awesome. The lecturers had a bunch of knowledge. They always had the resources there as well. So even if they didn't have anything, or they'd always ask us what we can improve and do better. So yeah, definitely I enjoy Taylor Weir. Not a lot of, they think they can pick up a pair of scissors and start cutting hair, but I think there's a lot more to that than, being able to push out good haircuts. I think, like I said, it's about respect and the due diligence and the, I guess, being able to treat a person properly, when they sit down in your chair. I think that's what keeps people coming back, not just a great haircut. I think there is a big crossover. There's different, you see now, there's a lot of people enjoying the scissor haircuts, and I think that's important as well. A lot of people do the only fades, and obviously, like, times change, fashion changes, styles changes, so it's important to learn both. I think there's different fundamentals where hairdressing does come into play, but then obviously barbering, there is a lot where a normal hairdresser wouldn't be able to do, like ways of work and clipper work. When I first started, it was like a dying art. A lot of people weren't doing it, and if you want a haircut as a male, you just go to a hair salon. There was those little hair salons that only did males and then only female, but now it's a separate thing, and it's great. I think there's I guess it's more personal. As a male, you go and talk to other males, or not saying there isn't females that are barbers, but it's that boys chat, that environment where you can just chill out a bit. So it's good. Yeah. So with class, I've got a fair few mates that still are barbering. A lot of them, do decide to go do something else or go travel, but do catch up with a fair few of them still. So that's good. Or even if we don't catch up, we'll flick each other a message, and it's good networking. You never know when you might need them. I think this industry is so small in Perth as well, and it was always based of like the old Italian guys that that didn't like talking to other barbers. It was their turf and their side, and don't touch them people. So I think it's pretty cool to be able to everyone to get along pretty well. I think I've always had a passion for it. I've always enjoyed fashion and style, and I always enjoyed getting my hair cut. And then I'd always go into, like, I guess, a barbershop when I was younger. My old man would take me there, and I'd always sit down, I'd watch, I'd ask questions. I was intrigued, I guess, about the whole experience, and every time I felt good. So yeah, I enjoy it. I think honestly, it all kind of kicked in after graduation. To be fair, I was sitting around, we were standing on the stage watching everyone. A few people were getting awards and coming up and dancing. It was a good time, and I think after that, I was just like, wow, it's kind of happening. It's the real world now, and get in there. I think there's a lot of things on social media that portray the industry a bit different. That I think now everyone's throwing around, like, pretending to buy all this materialistic stuff, and buying new cars all the time. And I guess there is a fair bit of money to be made, if you are working for yourself. But I think it's there's more to it. There's more about being successful and being able to treat people with respect. People that sit down in your chair, and I think there's a lot of people that are trying to focus on that lifestyle when it's portrayed, but it's totally different. I'd say the one thing I personally probably struggled with was the longer hair. As barbers, you mainly go in and it's normally a short back and sides, or no one really comes in for that longer hair. You usually go to a hairdresser. So I think Ange did a really good job. To be fair, she always brought in longer hair models, and we'd always have mannequins there with longer hair that we'd be able to practice on.